Wow, that's gonna be hard to follow. So our project's name is Gary, and there's a whole acronym associated with that. Try not to think about it too much. Okay, we didn't really think about the acronym. So our team, I'm Jason. I'm the product manager, and there's also Jonathan, assistant product manager. Ethan, he was like sort of did just like all these tasks, right? With no specific like specialization. Matthew, he did like social media stuff, and he edited like the images so that everything would look good. Uh, that's why everything here looks uniform. Aryan, he was backend, and Dominica, she's British, but website design, and she made one of the models.
Okay, so we decided to create Gary to provide people with jokes if they can't come up with any. Gary has three different options, like three different comedians to choose from. And you also can input a prompt. We found all these data sets from Kaggle. For the dad joke model, we used the Reddit dad joke data set that we found. For the pattern model, we used some of his comedy scripts that we also found. And for the group model, we didn't really use the data set because it's not an actual model. It was kind of like a cheat model.
Okay, so the process of doing all of this, starting with week one. The first week is where we started to learn actually how to code because we didn't really know much at the start. So we like learned about functions and loops and variables and stuff that we need to know, like towards like the first 2 days, and then towards towards the middle we learned about data types and dictionaries and lists to help us prepare to make the actual AI because we need to like sort the data. And towards the end we learned about NLP transformers such as the GTP2 model that we needed to help create the Gary. So, yep.
Okay, so for week two, we chose our topic. So we decided to do our comedy bot. We first gathered data and learned how to use pandas and data frames so we can clean and input it. And also using GPT-2, we trained models, different models. We also use GPT-2 because it doesn't require as much data. It could train models a lot faster. And then we also learned about transformer models, which is a deep learning model that weighs the importance of each part of the input data.
Okay, so week three, this is where we finally made this website using HTML, CSS, and Bootstrap. We worked on backend code to get the website up and running and front end to ensure the website looked neat. We had challenges like linking our models to the website, censorship of the models, and for some reason, one of the models would only talk about iced water at a point in time, but we got it all to work in the end. So
Okay, so testing our AI. So like they said before, we have three models to choose from, and it's the Dajux model, the Patton Oswalt model, and the group model. So I'm just gonna test these. They might take a little bit, but I'll just try to explain a bit about each model as I test them. So for the Dajux model, we trained it on one-liners and very, very short jokes. So the outputs will be quite short and snappy, you could say. For the group model, whatever you put in, you have a 1 in 1200 chance of it outputting we are Groot, and the rest of the outputs is I am Groot. So for example, Jason, sorry, it'll output I am Groot. For the Patton Oswalt model, we trained it on a very, very large script and a lot of scripts. So all of the outputs will be very, very long. And because of this, it does take a longer time to generate. But it might be, yeah, it's nice and quick today. That's awesome. So I'm not going to read it out. Also, a lot with the Patton Oswalt model, he swears a lot, and there's a lot of profanity that we struggled quite a lot to censor. So we can't promise it 100%, censors everything, but we did try our best, and it worked, thankfully.